Most preppers stock the same 10 items: rice, beans, bottled water, and that's exactly the problem. When a real shortage hits, that list disappears within hours. Not because the food is gone, but because everyone grabbed the same shelf at once. You didn't run out of food. You ran out of the food everyone else grabbed too. 7 items break that pattern completely. One costs under $10, lasts for decades, and was still sitting untouched the morning the rest of the store emptied out. Let's start at number 7. Number 7. Miso paste. Most people have only met it once, as a small bowl of broth before a restaurant meal. Easy to forget, which is exactly why it skips every prepper's list. It's actually fermented soybean paste, a Japanese staple for over 1,000 years, and fermentation gives it real staying power. Sealed and stored cool and dark, it holds its quality for 1 to 3 years, longer if colder, and stays good for months once opened. It's a complete protein, carries B12, rare in plant foods, plus zinc, manganese, and live probiotics. 1 spoonful dissolved in hot water makes an actual bowl of soup, not survival fuel. A container runs $5 to $8 at an Asian grocery store, and those stores are almost never hit by panic buying because most people never think to look there. Number 6. Blackstrap molasses. Most stockpiles are built around protein, calories, and carbs, and that picture leaves a real gap. 2 to 3 weeks into a standard emergency diet, deficiencies start showing up in nutrients no calorie count tracks. Iron, magnesium, calcium, potassium, B6, selenium, surfacing as fatigue, cramps, disrupted sleep, and a weaker immune response. Blackstrap molasses is the mineral-dense syrup left behind after sugar refining strips out the sucrose, so it keeps almost none of sugar's empty calories and almost everything the plant pulled from the soil. 2 tablespoons cover roughly 1/5 of your daily iron, 1/10 of your calcium, and about 15% of your magnesium. A $5 jar lasts for weeks and keeps for years, and it's the shelf that never gets touched in a real shortage. Number 5. Dried shiitake mushrooms. There's a gap almost nobody plans for specifically: immune function. A typical stockpile is light on vitamin D, light on zinc, and almost completely missing beta-glucans, the compounds most responsible for priming immune response. Shiitakes cover all 3 at once. One of the few plant sources that keep vitamin D through drying, more zinc per gram than most stored plant foods, and beta-glucan levels among the highest of any food studied. Soaked in warm water for 20 minutes, they release a savory broth that becomes the base for whatever you cook next. Stored airtight, they hold 1 to 2 years at room temperature, 3 to 5 sealed in mylar. A pound runs $10 to $15 and covers dozens of meals. Reliably the last aisle touched in a shortage. Number 4. Hard red winter wheat berries. This is the under $10 item, the one still sitting untouched the morning everything else was gone. Wheat berries are the whole, unmilled kernel, and the gap between storing the kernel and storing flour is enormous. Flour has a real shelf life of 6 to 12 months before the oils exposed in milling start to oxidize, and that decline can't be reversed. Sealed with oxygen absorbers, intact wheat berries hold for 25 to 30 years, sometimes longer. A hand crank mill costs about $60, needs no power, and grinds fresh flour anytime. 200 pounds in sealed buckets runs about $70 and covers more than a year of flour for a family of 4. During panic buying, people fight over the flour 2 aisles down and never check the wheat berries. Number 3. Dried lentils. Almost every stockpile has beans. Almost none has lentils, and the reason comes down to fuel. Beans need 6 to 8 hours of soaking, plus another hour or 2 of cooking. Lentils need no soaking and cook fully in 20 to 25 minutes. The nutrition is comparable, but the fuel cost per meal is a fraction of what beans demand. 1 propane canister might stretch to 30 cooked lentil meals against roughly half that many with beans. A cooked cup delivers around 18 grams of protein, 16 grams of fiber, and close to 40% of your daily iron. Stored in Mylar, lentils hold for 10 to 15 years. A 25-pound bag runs $35 to $40 and covers around 100 meals. The bean aisle clears in hours. Lentils sit untouched because most people never cooked with them to begin with.
Number 2, coconut aminos. This is the one that surprises people most, and the reason goes deeper than flavor. About 2 weeks into a standard emergency diet, the biggest threat to a household's mood isn't a lack of calories, it's sameness. Studies on extended rationing consistently link morale decline to sensory monotony, not hunger. Coconut aminos, made from fermented coconut blossom sap and a staple across Southeast Asian cooking, fixes that instantly. 1 tablespoon stirred into rice or lentils changes the entire meal with 0 extra fuel, unlike spices that need heat to release their flavor. It carries 17 amino acids, potassium, and B vitamins, with far less sodium than soy sauce. A bottle runs $8 to $12 and keeps for 2 to 3 years, and it's never the one that disappears when the soy sauce shelf clears out.
Number 1. Oat groats. Most kitchens already have rolled oats, but almost nobody stocks the whole unprocessed version, and the shelf life gap between them is dramatic. Rolled oats have been steamed and flattened, which breaks down their natural protection and leaves them stale within a year or two, even in good storage. Oat groats, with the outer layers fully intact, hold for 8 to 10 years or more sealed in Mylar and carry the full germ and bran that processing strips away. More protein, a broader nutrient profile, natural fats included. The usual objection is cook time, but the thermos method solves that. Pour boiling water over the groats in a sealed thermos before bed and they're fully cooked by morning. A 25-pound bag runs $25 to $35 and turns into a decade of shelf-stable grain almost nobody nearby thought to buy. Here's what ties all 7 together, and it's worth sitting with for a second. Miso and coconut aminos solve the psychological side of eating under stress, the part almost nobody plans for because it never shows up on a spreadsheet. Molasses and shiitakes close the micronutrient gaps a standard diet leaves wide open within weeks. Wheat berries and oat groats build the long-term foundation that processed grains can't provide. And lentils solve the fuel math most people never run until the tank is already half empty. None of these 7 are on the standard list, and none of them get touched during a real shortage because the crowd is busy fighting over the same 10 items everyone else already grabbed. That's not luck. The most resilient stockpile isn't the one with the most rice stacked in the garage. It's the one built on actually understanding what a restricted diet does to a household over time and stocking accordingly before it ever matters. Pick one item from this list, the one you're most surprised you don't already have, and start there this week. So, which one of these 7 isn't in your kitchen right now? Drop it in the comments. Genuinely curious what's still missing.